君、遊びたいですか？テリー君、遊びたいですか？ 君、遊びたいですか？
That's the end?
My check, 1, 2. Holy crap. Alright, anyways. Also, I gotta open up the chat again. I just want to open up the chat. See it from my whole thing. Oop. Alright, cool. Ah. Really, really nice. It's like I can literally just see my whole self. Oh wait, hold up a second. I forgot to put on the background music. Alright, cool. Like I'm just Alright, cool. Nice. Alright, now I want to... Oh. Alright. Okay. Dang, I might have to do my overlay again. I guess. Hmm. Oh well. Where am I going? I think it's alright, cool. Alright. Cool. Give me a few seconds. Alright. Alright. Story. Cool. Just setting up everything on my other phone, and then we can get started. Hmm. Cool. Alright, cool. Nice. Alright. Sweet. Sweet. Extra sweet. Let's start with this thing. Which game can I play here? Hmm. Rest. Huh. Right, so yeah, possibly might be. I might try it. Ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba. Na 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 na. Yeah. Oh man, it's my favorite game. Whole wide world. Alright, I'm gonna see if I can get my controls right. Alright. Yep. What? There we go. Need that. Yeah, there we go. Ah, man. It's fine. Whoop! Well, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Whoop. That again. Yeah! I fucked that up even more. Cool. Yeah, there we go. Oh, and no, no, no. Yes! There we go. Beep. Yeah. Alright, good. Yup. There we go. Some extra lives. Cool. Nice. Alright. Dope. Dope and extra fun. There we go. Cool. Now, since I got that carried out the way, don't care. Yeah! Yeah, I know the story. Oh, hold on a second. Wait. Can I modify? Okay, cool, I can. I really wish I can use like the ZR button. Let's jump and sit, accelerate. Huh? Oh snap! Leo with the 10 gifted subs with the Shinobi clan. Thank you, Leo. Thank you. How you been doing, bro? How you been doing, G? Oh. I didn't know a high train was starting. Wow. Wow, okay. Oh, snap! I actually met my sub goal. That quick. Holy crap, thank you, Leo. Holy crap. That's at 76%. Hey, that's cool. That's cool. I just came in to chill and just play some games on a Sunday. But yeah, everything's cool. I'm doing good. That's awesome. That's awesome, dog. That's awesome, dog. Right now I'm just changing changing the thing right now. Oh wait. Oh, I can. Yeah, fine. Cool. Oh, I didn't know I could do that. Had to beat Crash and give subs before work. Holy crap. Well, congratulations, you complete your mission. Thanks for the gifted subs, dude. Whee! What? There we go. Monty Moles. Oh, wait, Monty Moles everywhere. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I had to ditch Yoshi. Beep. Nice. Alright, Yoshi's Island 3. Alright, cool. Yeah, I always want to use my R button for spin jumps because it's more useful. I know the R button is just like my scroll screen forward, but it's way more easier this way. Dun 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 dun. Da-ba-da-bum-bum. Where are you going? He jumped off. No, she left behind, discovered in the fall. Turns out that Mario is an asshole. Whoop. And whoop. Dang! Usually, pops a 1-up. Sweet sauce. Thank the Lord. As of right now, I'm trying to speedrun this whole game. I've played Super Mario World for many times. Like many times as I can possibly count. Okay. Yeah. Sweet. Ah, crap! I didn't mean to do that. Oh! Well, yeah, I definitely didn't mean to do that. I'm always getting ahead of myself. Cool. Run. Just run, bro. Jesus Christ! Mario! Are you that slow, bro? There we go. It's fine. I missed my opportunity, but screw it. Ah! Alright. Cool. Alright, cool. This is cake. Yeah, crap. Shut up. Wait, what the heck? I think my chat's saying there's a hype chest. I have no idea what the heck that is. Her mind emote. Oh, cool. That's nice. Sorry about that. Ah! Crap. You're giving me like a hype chest. But I'm the one who's streaming this. I'm the one who's streaming. Why would I need a hype chest? Yeah, I know this whole Escobedo. Ooh. Alright, cool. Ah! I don't want to lose my mushroom, dude. Don't want to lose my mushroom. No. For fuck's sake. It's fine, it's fine. I can always go back to square one. Yeah. Alright. That's one down. Person. Wait, Mar was here? I didn't know Mar was here. I thought she was streaming with somebody else. You're mine. Finally. Nope. Oh, hold on, hold on, hold on. F, bro. Ah, no! Here. Nope. Oh! Well, that was crazy. Okay, never mind then. Oh, 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 oh! Oh, I need that. Thank you. Oh my god, Charge and Shuck, you stupid a-hole. Finally. That's the one. There we go. Yeah, I know what those are. You interrupt their sleep and they go berserk. Oh, I can need this. Definitely need that. There we go. There we go. How can I... There we go. Yes. Needs concentration. Full concentration. No. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Dang it! They really did tell me I go the other way. There we go. There we go. I just need to stay up way higher. Bit higher. Damn. Ah, for fuck's sake. This... Okay, no, never mind. Suicide bomb does not work. For the love of Pete. Screw you. There we go. This real quick. No. Get away from me. Wait, oh wait, back. There we go. Whatever, bro. I got it, bro. See? Easy as pie. Yeah, I know how this goes. Oh my god. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. I hate stuff like this, bro. I'm really trying to get like a running head start, but this freaking poltergeist is heading in my freaking way, bro. There we go. Up all the way there. So there's those. Okay. I'm really trying to remember all these secrets that I had. Damn it. No, shut up, shut up. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Wait for me. Back off. No, shut up. No. Alright. Oh, for crying out loud, I forgot. Suicide bomb. Boom. See? This is way too easy, bro. Up! I don't want to overdo it. I really don't want to overdo it, bro. Okay, cool. There we go. Oh my god, that thing is still... Wait, no. It's flashing for me, but it's not flashing at the camera. That thing is totally flashing. There we go. Yeah. Oh yeah, I know this one. Yep, definitely know this one. Yep. Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't even know if that was a glitch or not. Holy crap, I think I made it through. I'll take a right side though. Oh my god, that was a glitch. Oh my god, I'm glitching through this whole thing. Yes, baby! Screw you, I'm glitching. I'm not even sure how I even did it. Oh, sweet. That's so sweet. And yeah, 24, baby. Yeah. Something really did tell me, because I really forgot. If I'm in the Star World, I gotta get all the secrets here. I think I passed that through. Yeah, don't worry, I got that. Got that covered. There we go. There we go. That's perfect. Alright. I gotta find another secret here. Yes. Sweet. Sweet sauce. There we go. There we go. Uh-oh. Ah, crap! There we go. Uh-oh. Wait! Yoshi, wait! We can talk something out! We can sort something out, Yoshi, wait! Ah, crap. Well... You think I'm actually gonna freaking go here? Ah. I also want to know how in the world these fish can pass through walls. Anyways, who cares? I got the key. Cool. Oh, I know this one. Yes. Who cares? I got your freaking cloud. Sweet. Nice. Alright, cool. Who cares? Yeah! They really did tell me to dismantle. Oh! Nope. That was an ultimate fail, bro. Nice. Oh no! Cares. Oh, did I pass the thing? Yeah, I literally did. I wonder what that secret is. Maybe I'm bugging. What the f- Oh my god, it literally is right there. I think I passed it. I ain't gonna lie, something really did tell me to get Yoshi. I was too cocky to realize that. Okay. Feed. 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 There we go. No! Well. There we go. Come on, come on. Yes, sir. Hold on a sec. I want to see if I can nail something. One second. Ah, come on. There we go. I wanted to like stand there in the keyhole and then just grab it when I was standing in there. That way it would be so cool. But yeah, I can't. I don't think I can do that. Okay. Oh my god, I remember this one. Oh my god, I hate this. I hate this. I hate this so much, bro. Oh my god. Okay, so. Oh! Okay. No. Can't believe I just messed that up. On one go. Oh my god, dude. Oh, okay, well. Cause, yeah. Oh no! That's suicide. Oh no, Yoshi! Okay. I pressed the wrong button, I see. No! Okay. How? How? In God's name. What? No shot. Are you kidding me? Like, no shot. I guess I'm not supposed to move it. Ow. Let's see what's... Okay. Yes. Yes. That. Okay, well. What a boof. What a boofer. I did not mean to do that. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Whoa! 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 Crap! Okay, I'm losing my rhythm. Ah, crap! Okay, come on now. There we go. Alright, and... And... I knew it. Freaking knew it. So it's right over there. Oh, that's stupid, bro. It's all the way up there. Have no fear. I have this. Got it. Thank the Lord, dog. Thank the Lord, bro. Oh, that's so nice. Cool. Now let's finish this stupid shack. Gnarly. I've played this game like several times, so I'm aware. Uh-oh. Alright. Oh. Sorry, Fire Flower. I just need my time to shine with this. Whee! Up. Oh, cool. Oh, there you go. Ah! Oh, I just realized, bro. I'm stupid to understand. Yeah. There we go. Sweet sauce. And... Nice. Nicely done. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I think I messed it up. Oh no, never mind. Yay. Yeah, this is part of the speed run, so I really know how to. Uh-oh. Yeah. Yep. Float, 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 float. Oh, I'm not gonna make it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like almost right there. I was like right there, bruh. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Charge and Chuck, you suck. That top one doesn't shoot anything. I just realized that until like now. If you're full ball out of this. Oh my god! sake. Oh my god. Jesus Christ, dog. Leave me alone, bro. My final objective was just to leave. Oh! No, no! Okay, come on, man. Nope. No. Ain't no way in hell. For fuck's sake. Ah! Okay. No. No, 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 no. You had the first time. There you go. Move. And boom. Oh my god. There we go, finally. Alright. Yeah, yeah. Okay. I have to follow these assholes. Hate these niggas to the brim, bro. Oh, for fuck's sake. You know what? I might as well just follow the game. Fine. Look. Oh my god! Hate these guys. Ooh, that was close. Oh no. Okay. Don't touch me. No touchies. No touchies. God. Cool. Oh. Oh, if only I had a Yoshi, bro. I can moonwalk on this freaking trail easy peasy. But I don't have a Yoshi with me. Yeah. Whee! Okay, whoop. Wait, no, 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 not yet, not yet. Now. No. 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 Finally. Oh my god. This sucks to the brim, dude. At least I got it done. Awesome. Okay. Cool. Nope. Alright. Oh, for fuck's sake. I just walked into that. Oh my god. It was a nice whole weave that I just fell. Oh, never mind. Whoa! Wow. Oh, there it is back again. I'm back with it again. And I lost it again. Oh, for fuck's sake, dude. Up. Yeah. There we go. I was literally trying to wait for it. I'm like, wait for it, wait for it. I'm trying to wait for it. Cool. Alright, groovy. Oh, is this the, Oh! Okay. Yep. Oh, for F's sake, they sucked me out! Boom. Yes, sir. Yeah. Don't. Ooh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I reach that tippy top. Dang, almost had it. It's cool. It's cool. I almost had it. Nice. Mondo. Oh, I know this level. I hate this level, bro. Well, yeah, the water keeps on rising, bro. Who cares? Yeah, the fishes are out of water until they can find a way to swim. This is where Mondo is. The freaking Hammer Bros. Not Hammer Bros, but it's like a Hammer Brother. I like the half of the Hammer Bros. The Hammer Brother in a freaking floating sky. There he goes again. Oh! Wow, what a shortcut. Cool. Alright. F. Hey, at least I did it. Okay. Aw. I wish I can, but nope. I think that's only available in Super Mario Advance 2. If I, like, you know, flip up the one-up mushrooms, just for the fun of it. Okay. Autumn. I hated the stage. I hated this stage all the way. This is like one of the most hardest stage. Well, hardest stages ever of all time. No, yeah, see? How many bullet bills? See? How am I gonna make that jump? Simple. That. Which was completely bullshit. That's stupid. Like, what? Oh my goodness gracious. Screw you. Oh yeah, the enemy started coming out of the blocks. I forgot about that. This is literally what happens like when I was trying to speedrun the thing in the Game Boy Advance version. Oh my god! Save me! Cool. Oh, I was gonna say, don't you dare, don't you dare. This is like my only clutch. Okay. Oh my god. Leave me alone. What in God's name? Why do you hate me so? Oh my god! There we go. Screw it. Oh my god. My head is killing me, bro. Funky. This is the last one. I hate it! Oh yeah, that's a sumo brother. They stomp out electricity at their feet. They are highly known. Actually, no, they just... that thunderbolt and they just flame. That's the sad part, you can't even jump on these hoes. You gotta spin them out. Oh, hello there. Thank you. Oh, for F's sake. Thank you. Nope. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Not on my watch. There it is. You are a super player. Shut up, timer. Cool. Sweet and gnarly at the same time. Oh, so I just want to check my audio real quick. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure everything is static and Gucci. That's not the place that I wanted to go. I think I'm kind of lost. Oh well. I led a good life. Cool. Anyways, what can I play? By the way, Joe and Meg, Rough and Tough, Spanky, Mario. I've actually played this game, it's not that bad. Spanky's Quest, Bomb Puzzle. But it's literally called It's Dynamite Kablooey. Like what? That doesn't make any sense. Psycho Dream. Don't look for me. Huh. Yeah. Revals. Brawls Brothers. Ask Good boy. Stars. Doomsday Warrior. Let's play some Double Dragon. I'd love to play some Double Dragon. And Battletoads. Nice. Just one play, that's it. Oh. Abobo not like intruders. I'm gonna beat you up. Yeah. Ow. I'm literally forgetting my buttons. Nice. Bro, what in God's name? Wait. Nice. Bro, at least let me move, bro. Why are you ganging up on me, dog? Okay, come on, man. Hey, stop it. Dude, come on, man. Bro, whoa! That's not fair, bro. Okay, ow, nigga. Ow, nigga. Bro. It's games like these that won't make you turn around in time. Okay, come on, man. Okay, come on. Come on, stop. Hey, chill. Bro, can you at least let me hit you, bro? Oh my god, bro. Bro, not like this. Not like this, bro. Jesus Christ, dog! Okay, you jackass. Fine, I'll stop rewinding for your freaking sake. Bro, what the fuck? What the fuck is this? Dude, what? Wait, what? I'm confused. Wait, okay, what? What's happening? Dude, what's happening? Bro! Okay, what? What? Hey, wait, hold up a second. Oh, okay, so I didn't even know what's happening. I'm just like, wait, what am I doing wrong? Hey, good lord, okay. Okay. Oh. Level 1-2. Great. Stupid ass. Okay, great. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my god. Uh-oh. I know what this is. A Bobo. Bro, what the bro, let me keep ramming you. Wow, okay, man. Dog. Hey, 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 hey. Stop it. Bro, what the fuck, nigga? My dude! Oh my god. It's like this game was never made for anybody to beat fairly. See? All you gotta do is just keep ramming him over and over again until he's down. See? If you don't do that, it's gonna go to shit. Hey. Big Bad Blag. Yeah, I see him in the arcade. Oh. If only I had somebody to play with, it's so good. Possibly it would be so easy because I wouldn't be pummeled doing it solo. Here we go. Oh. Uh-oh. His legs. Ooh, a stick. Fine. Yeah, that's nice. Oh, okay, come on. Okay, like an asshole. Hey! Stop! Whoa! Cool. Oh, won't you look at that? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I just gotta keep dodging these. I think. Oh, I think I'm supposed to throw it back to him. Okay, I'm a stupid boy. Yeah. Okay, so I think I understand it now. Throw the thing back to him. Oh. Cool. Sweet. Yay! I can pick people up now. Although I actually get like another life health, another life back. Cool. Stop it. Wait. Uh-oh. Your legs. There we go. Sorry if I'm not talking a bit. If I'm not talking a lot. This is sometimes how I use my mental focus. Oh my god. Bro. Jesus Christ. Please let me fucking breathe, dude. Christ. Oh my god. Oh my god, dude. Bro! I'm getting pummeled. Did this bitch just try to kick me? Little asshole. Ah, crap, another one. Yeah. Uh-oh. Oh, never mind. Uh-oh. Ah, fuck. Okay. Come on, man. Ah, come on, bro. There we go. Few more. Few more, bruh. Uh-oh. There we go. Huh. Oh. Oh, wait, can I... Yeah. Oh, snap. Yeah, it's these. Sweet. Uh-oh. I lost my streak, dude. Uh-huh. And up. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, crap. There we go. I was gonna have my perfect timing on it. Cool. Hey, stop, bro. Maybe. Oh, I can just hold the. Never mind. Oh my, bro, what? Yo! So he just knocks my whole freaking thing and I'm just dead. That's stupid, bruh. That's stupid, bro. Jesus Christ, dog. Just keep on hitting the B button. I already know this shit is gonna be unfair. Right? Oh yeah. Dodging. Again. Again. And again. Ah, crap! Well, I missed that opportunity. Okay. Oh, great. Ah, great. This bozo. Keep punching him, keep punching him, keep punching him. Well. Ah, man. I missed my opportunity. Oh, well. Ah. Huh? Oh, snap. Hello, Azriel. Azriel Cat, welcome to the stream. My name is Terry Kunaj. Nice of you to stop by. Right now I'm playing Battletoads versus Battletoads and Double Dragon, which is freaking beating my ass right now. Why can't I just do that just to throw him down in the pit? Oh my god, bro! I messed up my greetings. It's okay. It's all good. Oh my god. Brody. Brody. Brody! Shut up. Oh, you can't even reach me. Oh, cool. So boom, boom, boom. It's going good. It's going good. I played some Super Mario World for like a little bit. Thank the Lord. I played Super Mario World a little bit and I thought I was going to beat the level by speed running, but I thought wrong. Yeah. Alright. Fizz versus bullets. I'm going to use your bullets for target practice. I don't know who this is. Wait, what? I forgot who the f this was. Roper. Yeah. But Jesus! Oh my God! Oh, gee. Okay. Okay, lady. 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 Jesus Christ. Whoa! Oh my god! Is this what kids like to play? This extreme violence. I'm pulling a chick in her hair and I'm beating her ass. Holy crap! Why are there boob ladies now? I have no idea. Oh. Well, I fucked that up. Oh, I see. I was like, wait, what? Sweet. Wait, can I? Oh. Oh, that is sweet, bro. If only I had another life up. Oh my god! Boop. Okay, come on, please, 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 for the love of God. See that, like, bro. Whoever made that sprite, I bet you somebody was going through a tough relationship. Like, bro, what? Okay. Dude, let me get up, please. Dude, let me get. Oh my god. Alright, that's crazy with next. Hey Punk, are you tough enough? Okay, let's see here, because I'm coming back to that Battletoads and Double Dragon. Let's see if I'm good with Punch Out. Let's see if I'm good with Punch Out. I've been a fan of Punch Out ever since, so I want to try the Super version. All right. If I'm like available tomorrow, I might play some Zenless Zone Zero. For the fuck of it. Let me win. I've lost so many times I forgot how winning feels. Gabby J's the Glass Joe.
Gabby J!
Henceforward, because Gabby J and Glass Joe share the same first and last initial of their first and last name. So, they're alike.
Yay! Fight!
Punch, punch. Bing, 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 bing. There you go. Ooh. Ah, man, I almost missed that. Oh! No. Let me...
Yay! Come on! Come on!
Ah, crap! Okay. Alright, now I you know what? Fuck it.
Yay!
Fuck you, bro. Pink! There we go. That's where I messed up at.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, cool.
Fight! Come on! Come on!
Oh! Okay, so he...
Come on!
Okay, I got it.
Come on!
Hold on a second, I'm finna nail this one. Damn it! Come on, man.
Come on!
Ah!
Come on!
Okay, fine.
Come on!
Bink Gario. That's what I forgot to do. I was gonna say I was gonna clash at him, but that didn't work.
7, 8, 9, turn! Knockout!
And I literally forgot you're supposed to like weave left and right.
Pizza cake!
I'm literally forgetting my controls. I'm literally forgetting my controls. I don't know why I'm forgetting my controls, bruh. It sucks, dog. Bear Hugger. This is like my favorite character in all the Punch-Out series. He was just a bigger.
Fight!
A bigger. Ow! Dude! Okay. Oh, man. Okay, so I'm not supposed to... Okay, so cool. Lesson learned. I'm not supposed to hit his stomach. Bink, bink. Ah, I missed my opportunity. Bink, 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 bink. Bink. Oh. Okay, cool. Jesus Christ. I'm literally like missing my opportunity, bro. Like, see? There we go. Bitches! Up! Okay, cool. Okay, come on, man. I really wanted to know how I can do the quick punches. See? Damn it. Ugh.
1, 2, fight!
Damn it. Let me run that shit back. Let me run that shit back. Because I think I'm missing something with this.
7, fight!
Okay, yeah, I definitely am missing something. There we go. That's how I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to rapidly press A at that shit. I was just like, wait, how am I supposed to do this?
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, cool. I understand why. I understand why I'm actually failing at this bullcrap. Holy crap. Yeah. Your record. Oh my god, Derek, you suck. Piston Hurricane. Yeah.
Piston Hurricane!
Ooh.
Fight!
I'm gonna just keep on hitting. Okay, come on, man. Damn it, bro. Ow. Jesus Christ, bruh. He keeps on hitting me, bro. Wait, what if I like... Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm missing my opportunity on this shit. There we go. Oh yeah. Yep. There we go. Cool.
1, 2,
I was gonna say I gotta wait for the perfect time for that shit.
6, 7,
I know rewinding is a bit cheating, but hey, this is literally how I do stuff. And plus it saves my CPU on my computer. Damn, bro. Okay, come on, man. Damn. Cool. At least I got him. I got him.
3, 4, 5, 6,
Cool.
fight!
Okay. Okay, come on, asshole. There we go. Damn, bitch. So I gotta Damn it, fuck. I keep on missing my opportunity, fuck it. Oh no, I was too late! Okay, wait, hold on a second. Cool, I got it.
Knockout.
TKO, yay, I guess. Fucking error.
Pizza cake.
Yeah, who cares? Oh, for fuck's sake. Fuck you, Dano and Mac. Full charge.
Bull. Fight.
Every other fighter does this. Oh my god, you asshole. Okay, whoops. That was my fault. Wait, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Uh-oh, whoops. Cool. There.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Fight.
Ah, man! That bull charge is a one-hit KO. Okay, well. Ah, fuck. Okay. God damn it, dude. No. I literally just missed that opportunity. Ow. Cool. At least it's nice. At least it's nice.
2, 3.
I'm surprised my CPU is not acting like a bitch right now.
Fight.
Counter attack. Boom, 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 boom. Fuck, dude. God damn, bro. I suck. Bro.
Fight.
Yeah. I suck. I definitely suck. Ah! Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. Ah, well. Boom, boom, boom. God damn it. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. Ah! Almost had it, bro. So I think it's like every time he does like a bull charge. 1, 2, 3, whoop. 1, 2, 3, whoop. 1, 2, 3, hoop. Damn, bro. 1, 2, 3, hoop. Boom. There we go. I'm really just like learning every single of their moves. Dude, if I would have done this blindfolded, it would be so impossible.
Right on.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Mac. Yay! Cool, 4-1-0 loss because I fucking cheated. Oh wow, I was little. Damn, bro, this was 3 years ago. Oh well, you know it's fine. It's fine. Here. Damn it! If freaking Mer was available right now, I want to play this game with her so bad. Kirby's Dream Course. It's like golf, but with Kirby. It's so fun. I really want to play this, or if she has the free time. Oh my god. Ew, dude. Kirby's Dream Land 3. Okay. Goofies. Azrael, if you're still alive in this chat room, how are you feeling right now? Doing alright? You're doing cool, that's dope. I would love for my viewers to explain their lives. That way we can have like a deeper connection. You know what? Yeah, baby. Jet Force Gemini. Halloween. He's Wrecking. Okay. Tui. Okay, cool. Or fuck, I really want to play Mario Party so bad. It's so fun. Sin and Punishment. I've played this game before. A few years back. I ain't gonna lie, that game was shit. So freaking impossible. I literally just like lost my whole health and lost my entire points. So I'm like, fuck, dude. Sega! Yay. Two. Lusha. Metallic Uniframe Super Hybrid Armor. Oh my god. There we go. Why are you moving around so much, dog? Jesus Christ. Okay, well. Oh, hello there. Okay, whoops. Okay, cool. Oh my god, bro. Jesus Christ, chill, bro. Cool. Oh, dog. Oh, uh-oh. Jesus Christ, dog. Okay, well. Uh-oh. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, okay. Sweet. Well, you just kick me and pummel me to the ground. Okay. Fuck you, bro. Oh yeah, and I forgot. This is like the one game that you can never double tap to dash. You gotta walk very slow. Fuck, dude. Cool. Cool. That's like the third stage. Oh. Okay. Bro, go, move out the way, bro. Move out the way. Way, please. Cool, move out the way, please. Oh my gosh, move out the way, bro. Who cares? Get out the way. Oh shoot, yeah, I know who this is. I'm aware who this is. Nigga who pisses me off all the time. That's why he got hit by a metal bar. God, bro. Alright, cool. Oh my god, come on, bro. Jesus Christ, let me get up. Okay. Jesus Christ, dog. Jesus Christ, okay, come on. Come on. Alright, good. Oh, what the f- Jesus fuck. Okay. Donovan, Martin. What are these names, dude? Oh, for fuck's sake. Leave the whip alone, bro. Oh my god, they're strippers. Metal M and shield Q. Oh no, they're robotic strippers. Oh my god, bro. Okay, come on, man. Cool. Cool. Wait. Get out of my way, bro. Okay. No eyes for it. Ain't no freaking way I'm getting bodied and sandwiched by 2 dudes while I'm trying to fight somebody. Bro. Get out of the way, bro. Ain't no freaking way, bro. Jesus Christ. No, this sucks. There we go. God. Oh, great. Of course, the freaking dome. You can't launch people off the stage. Underground tunnel. Here we go. Come on. Bayako? How do you even pronounce that name with a CK and an O? Never mind, he's dead. Christ on a stick. There. Oh my god, bro. Oh, I forgot I could double tap and just attack. There we go. Okay. Fucking hell, dog. Alright. Jesus Christ, dog. Cool. Bro, are you serious? Okay, hell, bro. Oh my god. Yeah, finally. Jesus Christ. Dick. Not great. Going against Terminator, bro. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, for fuck's sake. Damn it, fuck. Now. The fuck, he's trying to get close to me. There we go. Damn it, bastard. Oh, for fuck's sake. Cool. I'm gonna beat this asshole and then I'm home free. Cool. Stars is gone. I will beat this man for real. Do that? No. Back to you, bitch. Back to you, asshole. few more. Boom, there we go. Thank the Lord. He's finished for. Cool. Lord have mercy on a stick. Stage 5. Stage 5. Alright. You thought that was really simple. That was really simple to stab it with a knife. Fuck a knife. With metal pipes. Ooh, shit. Had a burp. Oh, for fuck's sake. I think his name is Hart. Can I throw this knife at him? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Cool, I guess. Alright. And... cool. Oh, you keep on doing that freaking belly bounce. I'm gonna keep on giving you grand uppers. Like, for real, bro. Stop playing with me. There we go. Alright. Leave me alone, dog. Jesus Christ, dog. Yadko. Who's that, your freaking brother? Oh, Sean, or whoever the fuck your name is? Stop punching me, bro. I can punch you back. One thing I know for sure is I need some help. Oh my god, Raven. It's so him. Oh my god. Yo, back up. Wayne, Raven and Wayne. Uh-oh. Make me do that. Well, I got 4 lives left. Better make it count. Oh my god. Leave me alone, douchebag. Alright. Bro, my nigga. Get the fuck alone, bro. Alright, cool. Nice. Thank the Lord. Brown and brown. Oh my god, I hate these guys. See? Freaking hate these assholes. God. There we go. So stupid. Oh my god, so stupid. Beat this asshole. There we go. Good lord. Yeah, he's on my friggin' nerves. Yale. Move out the way. Move. Bro, if you don't get off of me, that's what you get. Bro trying to run up on me but failed. Y'all niggas is really getting hit with your own weapons. That's insane. Cool. What the fuck, bro? Oh my god. Bro. Oh, cool. Boss battle. I guess. Who cares? My god. Who is this Frenchman? Our bear. My goodness gracious. Jesus fuck, bro. Cool, you're getting grand numbers. God damn, bro. Jesus Christ, okay, come on now. What asshole. Hey, whoa, hold on a second. What happened to my buttons? I thought. There we go. Where you going? Uh-oh. 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 Hold on a second, hold on a second. Jesus Christ, dog. Damn. Got the shit out of it, bro. Okay. Bro, leave me alone. This is a one-on-one battle with me and him. Whoa, nigga. Okay, never mind then. Here we go. Oh, sweet. Cool. Stage 6. Oh my god, bro. Why are you not leaving me alone? Christ, dog. Oh my god, bro. Fuck, bro. Okay, come Cool. Oh my god, stand still, you jackass. Bro, oh my god. There we go. Lord have mercy. I'm like, bro, stand still already. Oh my god. Ouch, look at that. Jesus fuck, bro. Condor. Oh my god, bro. Oh my god, what the fuck? God, bro. Enemy lines. Who would have guessed? Oh, for f***'s sake. Oh my god. Leave me alone, bro. I want to get to my destination. Oh my god, bro. Oh my god, okay. Oh my god. Alright, cool. Thank the Lord. Alright. Jesus Christ. Leave me alone. Oh my god. Oh my god. Leave me alone, bro. Damn, bro. Right? Huh? Cool. Dead. Let's go. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, for fuck's sake, dude. Oh my god. Oh no, you did not. How dare you, bro? I'm gonna get my grub on, bro, and you're trying to hit me from the back. Oh my god. Oh my goodness gracious, dude! Oh my god, bro! Yes, I'm gonna continue. Stay. control. I don't care if my freaking live settings is gone. I don't care what my server says, but I just want to play this game. Right. Cool. Oh, look at that. I will stay alive. Oh, would you look at that? Oh, come on, bro. For fuck's sake, dude. Fuck's sake. Okay, what if I just like use my special move? Nope. Oh my god. Fine. Damn it. Oh, for fuck's sake, come on. There we go. For fuck's sake, dude. For fuck's sake! Ugh. Finally, god. Now it's just me and him. That nigga's been annoying, bro. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Oh my goodness gracious. I might save a save point for right here. Yep. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Okay. I'm really feeling a little bit tired. I wanna see who else I can raid. Yeah, I wanna see who I can raid tonight. Oh my god. Wheel as shit. Bubsy. Yeah. Alright, let's see. Following. Don't do Black Ops. No sniper. Oh, cool. Yo, oh my god, bro. Mer's still streaming. I'm not sure if I want to end this thing. I'm not sure if I want to end my stream. I think I might do a little bit more. Ba, ba. Oh my god. Okay, let's. I'm looking at Mer's stream right now. Hmm. You know what? Hold on a second. No, not Bleeds for Souls. Different. Oh crap! Something new to play. Shadow Man. Oh, alright. Forsaken 64. Huh. Oh, wow. Assassin. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Evil. Huh. Eh. Well, I really want to see what's into my shit. Hmm. Uh. I got Splatoon 2, but it's like Splatoon 3. That's what I'm trying to get. Holy crap, bro. Wait, can I actually play this game? Insert the game card. Fuck, bro. Hmm. You know what? Out of that, Smash Bros. Till I might end playing retro games, I'm finna play some new styles. You know what? Okay. Hold on, hold on. I literally just dropped my controller. Alright. What about like a stream marker here? Or possibly if I want to. I could. Hmm. Okay, cool. Now I am the only one here. Let's lay this shit down on my chest real quick. I had to take a breather for a sec, my bad. Holy shit. Just watching Mer's final moments before she ends the stream. Fuck, I wanted to play Smash Bros, but fuck it, bro. Oh shit, I might as well turn off the background music. Fuck you. Fuck you, background music. You suck my dick. Yeah, yeah. Cool. Who cares? New game. Wow, okay. I'll do Shadow Story because I'm not sure what's the difference between that and new game.
50 years ago, aboard the space colony Ark, the genius Professor Gerald Robotnik sought to create the ultimate life form.
Holy crap.
He called his creation Shadow.
Freaking mercenary, bro.
Shadow was raised alongside
Thank you for the
Gerald's
freaking raid, Mar.
granddaughter,
Just raided with
Maria.
9 viewers. What's
They
up,
were
G's?
inseparable.
What up, G's? I just got done
A series of
playing
tragedies
freaking
befell
retro
New York.
games.
The military sabotaged everything.
Ah!
They took the lives
Oh,
of Gerald
thanks.
and
I forgot.
Maria and sealed
Hey,
Shadow away.
thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Shinobi clan, but not the other type of clan. But you know what we do with that clan? We get the shit out of them, bro.
was awakened.
Anyways, we're playing. I am playing Shadow Generation for the first time ever. I've not played this game whatsoever, but yeah.
The people.
I saw Shadow Generation and went, yes, yeah.
Shadow was
I hope you have a
bent
fun
on
time.
revenge
Yeah,
and
I
sought to
might go for
destroy
like a
the
possible
world.
2 hours if I can, because shoot, I don't
At
care.
that moment, Shadow remembered Maria's final wish to protect her beloved planet and all who lived there.
Yeah, and then
There
he
were more
thought he was
secrets to
finna
Shadow's
kill
past.
everybody.
Shadow was generated from the DNA of the evil alien conqueror Black Doom.
Yeah, Black
Shadow didn't
Doom.
understand
Yeah.
why Black Doom expected
But whoever
him
followed, thank
to
you for
be
the follow. Oh
vanguard
my
for
god,
his invasion of Earth.
I can't see that.
After many battles,
bonus
Shadow
point.
crushed
bonus?
Black
Cool.
Doom and his forces.
I gotta fucking hydrate.
Finally breaking free from his past. Shadow the Hedgehog, the lone dark warrior who judges the world by his own code. The past will return to haunt him.
It's like Slim Shady and Eminem. Yeah, it's like Slim Shady and Eminem. Eminem is a matured man. He learns his mistakes. But Slim Shady is always there to haunt him because he says, "You're nothing without me." Give Silver Dog Fails for the day. Alright, night, mercenary. Take care. Oh my god. Maria is so excited to see him.
Can we wake him up now? Can I meet him?
I believe so, yes. It is time to awaken the ultimate life force. Welcome to the world,
Ah, damn.
Shadow the Hedgehog.
Ariel. There it is. Ah, shit, dude.
Shadow, this is Rouge. Do you copy?
Shadow here. I copy.
Are you still aboard the Ark?
God damn.
I arrived at the space colony an hour ago.
Well, you're missing the birthday party. I hope you're planning on being here.
I already told you. Gunn detected an unusual biosignature aboard the Ark. I'm not leaving until I eliminate any possible threat.
There's free food.
He said there's free food. Yeah. Uh-oh. Oh, shit. A lot of mumbo jumbo. Ooh, I dig the loading screen. Whoa!
I've got you now. I won't let you get away.
Holy shit! So cool. Okay, this is actually nice. Dun, 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 dun. How did I forget? Oh, would you look at that? This is the same homing attack from Sonic 06. Dun, 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 dun. Oh. But can I like attack or something? Oh, I can. Oh, there's like a Chaos Spear. Oh, that's actually that's really amazing. Whee! It's my first time playing this shit. I'm so excited. Whee! Up, up. There we go. Action key. Nice. This is nice. Chaos Control. Okay. I'm aware of what that is, but alright, and oh, it's my opportunity. It's okay. Okay. Yo. Sweet. Up. Sweet balls.
Chaos control!
Uh-oh. Sweet. Nice. This is amazing, bro.
Let's do this.
Okay. Alright. But not yet. Not yet. Ah, F! I missed my opportunity. Oh.
This is the ultimate power.
This is the ultimate power. Oh. There we go.
Alright. Chaos control!
Oh! That is dope, bruh. Whee! Oh, what's this? Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh! Oh, that is so sick! That is nice. Holy crap, that is so clean. Oh, these artificial chaoses, bro. Sonic Adventure 2. Oh. Sweet, bro. Sweet, man. Oh, hello there. Okay. Cool. Got the banana. Oh, I'm so glad they got a double jump feature. Because without it, I wouldn't know where I'd be without it. Ah! I was looking at Chad, then I got confused. This is what happens when I don't focus on games. Boom, boom, boom. You love Maria in this. Yeah! Maria's so adorable. Oh. Oh, hello. Oh my god. Oh shit. Oh, would y'all look at that. Oh shit, is that West City? Oh, it is West City, bro. It's definitely West City, baby.
We meet again, Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Uh-oh, I'm missing my freaking rings.
Creation.
Oh, I can't use my Chaos Control in this. Oh! There we go. There we go. Nicely done. Nicely done. Boom! Whee! Oh! Whoa! Okay. Hello. Oh. Ah! I missed my opportunity. There we go. There we go. Uh-oh.
The promised time will arrive once more.
Oh, shh. Get. Oh, wait, no. That's a different,
You cannot deny your fate.
Okay. Sweet balls. Whoa!
What?
Whoa, God!
So what I was tracking was him. I won't let him escape again.
Huh. Cool. That is killer. Oh, for fuck's sake, dude. I literally could have got an S. Man. Y'all focusing too much on Sonic Adventure ranks. And give me a freaking X for crying out loud. Oh, Chaos Emerald.
The fake Chaos Emerald tails me to foil the Doctor's plans.
Yeah.
Even I have a hard time distinguishing between the two of them.
Yeah. The same length and properties. Don't forget. Oh yeah, time meter. Oh yeah. Holy crap, duty. I forgot to change the category. Cool, there we go. Hey, Omega! Space Colony Arc geared. Yay! Space Colony Arc, yay! Would you look at that? I don't know what the fuck that is. Whoa! Oh shit, it's a fucking open world! What are these? Huh.
Something calls to me.
Huh. Oh snap. Omega.
Shadow.
For year 2. I was hunting Dr. Eggman's latest super weapon when it unleashed a temporal anomaly. Ah, okay. Okay. Huh. This is actually really nice. Yeah. Oh, I think I got to meet the exact criteria of what's left in that box. Must be something important. Oh shit, what's this? You obtain machine parts. It might come in handy if collected. Oh, okay, cool. That's dope as shit. So far, I actually love the details and everything else.
All right.
Whoa, look at that. You got Rhythm and Balance for White Jungle, which is like one of the most dopest songs in Sonic Adventure 2. This. Sonic Adventure 2 Part 1. Oh, nice. Another picture. A wallpaper. Or whatchamacallit. Space Colony Arc. Well, that's Act 1 of this. Okay, let's do Act 2 then. This is actually not that bad. I really love this shit. I really adore this. Ah, side scrolling. Yeah, who cares? Oh my god.
Let's do this.
Hold on. Okay. Nice. Nicely done. 3. Okay.
3.
I ain't gonna lie, I should have just wait for the right moment to wait for them to blow up. Oh, uh-oh. There we go. Uh-oh. Yeah, it's like when stuff like this happens, this is like the same thing with Sonic Unleashed. Whenever there's like extra platforms that you want to go to, you gotta wait till it comes up right in front of your eyes. And if you miss it, then that's on you.
Alright. This is the ultimate power.
Whoa! Holy shit, dude. That's actually freaking dope. Oh my god. Oh, yeah, it's one of these things from Sonic Adventure 2. Okay, whoa, there we go. There we go, dog. Oh, yes. There we go. Wait for this thing to load. Oh. Oh. Oh, that's the Chaos Spear. Okay. Nice. Okay. Oh, you can paralyze them, bro. That's nice. That's one of the most dopest moves to have for Shadow. Paralyze. Now I can destroy you. Up. Cool.
Chaos control!
Sweet. Nicely done. Oop. Oh, great. Him again. Oh. 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 Wow. Yo. No way. Hold ZR in the air to glide. The boost gauge will be depleted while gliding. Shut up, what? Shut up, are you serious? No way!
Alright.
Oh. Okay, I think I messed that one up. It's okay. But holy crap. Oh, and it depletes my freaking ring energy. Oh my god, that's so killer. That is so killer. Okay, so I'm really remembering. Okay. Got you. Got you. Oh my god, this is so killer. I'm so glad I'm playing this. Oh. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Free.
Stop right there. Yo, these wings are so freaking dope. Yo, he's so badass. He's so badass with it. I love. Can I just get a C? I got a C, bro. Man, this sucks. I could have done better. I think it's like some of the levels is tough, but it's nice.
What was that new power? I've never done anything like that before. It's not something I should normally be able to do, yet it felt natural. What could be causing these mutations?
The black arms, possibly. Uh-oh. Hold up a second. Oh. Oh shit! No No way!
Maria? No. She's gone. I'm seeing things. Maria!
Shadow, I beg of you. Please, do it for me.
Yeah.
Maria?
For all the people on that planet. Sayonara, Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
I need to stay focused. Deal with the problem at hand, not chase dreams.
That's insane. Oh, there it is. Right there. Ah. Doom's gear can unlock special powers locked inside power sealing devices. Go find those devices.
Something calls to me.
Huh. Oh. Oh shit.
No! No!
Doom spears. That is killer, bro. So killer. Shoot multiple chaos spears by holding X. This skill can hit up to 5 targets. That is so OP. Oh, shut up. That is sweet. That is sweet, bro. That is so sweet, dog. Can't even find that blue thing whatsoever. Huh. Nice. That is so freaking dope. I want to look around more. What else am I missing? Okay. Oh shit, it's another portal close by. I can tell because of the little icon. Yo! What's this? Okay, I think I know what this is. Cool. That's a rocket. That's definitely a rocket. What the fuck? Up. Yes. Oh, hold on. There we go. Oh. Oh, I didn't know that killed me, bro. Whoopsie. But I cannot go in the water. Okay, lesson learned. Do not go in the water.
Let's do this.
Cool. And I just wanted to look around some more. And then I can start the level. Okay. Oop. Oop. Yes, sir. Oop. Yeah. Oop. Okay. Oh, okay, I see. Oh, okay. There's a 10 ring right there, and then, oh shit, look at that. That big ass obstacle course right in front of me. What the fuck? Oh, it's a fucking loop. How the hell? You know what? Screw it. I don't even want to. I don't want to ask. I don't even want to ask, bro. But I know for sure we're playing Radical Highway because I know the theme. I think. Oh no, I was close. I thought we were going to Radical Highway. No, this is the stage from Sonic Heroes. Rail Canyon. That's what it is. Yep. This. You hit an enemy with Chaos Spear, their movement stops to attack. Yeah, I just learned that like a few hours ago. A few minutes ago. I'm stupid. Yeah, these switches. Sir. Oh, yep. Oh, yeah, and I remember these. These bozos.
Alright.
Thank God for this move. Oh snap, what the heck? Alright. Whee! Whoa! Ah, I missed it on the top. Uh-oh. Whoopsie. I literally accidentally fucked that up. There we go. Cool. Sweet balls. Oh, move. Out the way. Move, move! Cool. That was a close one. Go. That was close. Uh-oh. A little bit further. Oh no. Not again. Holy crap, dude! Yo! He keeps on messing everything up! Now everything's returning to Radical Highway. Whoa, my god! I don't know where I'm...
Let's do this.
Jesus Christ, bro. I just flew so far up high. Uh-oh. Well, I missed that chance. See? It's just like Sonic Unleashed. Yeah! Okay, there we go. And you're like, God damn it, fuck! Uh-oh. Uh-oh, what? Whoa. Oh, whoa! What in God's name? Oh! Holy crap! Bro, what is happening? What is happening? Yo, what?
one way or another.
Hey, there we go. Yo, what the fuck? Ow, bro! Oh!
Out of my way. Try.
Move. There we go. What you talking about, bro? You something about brushing that down. Yeah, right. Jesus Christ, that was a freaking nightmare. Haha, that's what you get, asshole.
This is the ultimate power.
There we go. Yes, sir. Run, bitch, run, bitch, run, bitch, run, bitch, run! That was close. I don't think I lost any rings. I ain't gonna lie, I'm all on a boost. Oh, never mind. I'm back in business. And poop. Yes, sir. Thank the Lord. There we go. Damn, a lot of boost. Again. Fuck it. Yay! Jesus Christ, dog. If I play the second act, and if I get a freaking, a freaking, whatchamacallit, a C rank on the second, I'm gonna crash out. Or better yet, I'm gonna end this, the stream if I get a C rank. There ain't no freaking way, bro. Jesus Christ, there's another one. God damn. Oh wait, I gotta play the second act. I'm stupid. Alright, come on, let's do it. Let's go. Let's do this to it. Oh my god, another Jesus Christ, bro! Whose idea was this?
Let's do this.
Pause again. There we go. That's how you do it. Oh! That was a close one. Yes, sir. Oop. Nicely done. Oop. And whoop. Uh-oh. Oh, I freaking missed that opportunity. Well, I ain't gonna lie, I'm so glad I didn't do that, because I don't have no chaos control. Don't. Nicely done. Whoa! I gotta be careful not to use my boost here. Nice. Ah! CNA Turbo. Cindy! Thank you for following, bro. Welcome to the clan, but not the other clan. And you know what we do with that clan? We get the shadow from bro. Welcome to the stream. And thank you for the follow. We're playing Shadow Generation at the moment. My first time playing this game. I'm actually really excited for I'm really happy for this, because this is by far one of the greatest games I have ever played. So good. Yeah. Cool. I can tell this is a classic Sonic stage because of the side scrolling. And the it's like they won't let me go faster on these side scrollings on a rail.
Chaos control!
Yes, sir, bro. Let's go. See? Easy. Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. I have an X rank. Thank the Lord. I was really finna quit my stream, bro. I was finna say, if I get a C rank, I'm ending the stream. I'm ending the stream, dude. I'm ending the stream. Thank the Lord I did not. Oh my god. Every time I look at that icon that Shadow gets. Yeah, I know what that is. Every time. Oh. Man, I miss these kind of characters in Shadow the Hedgehog. I don't even know how to beat this man. Oh, for f***'s sake. Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah, bro.
Something calls to me.
But yeah, I actually hold this because I actually want to see this. I know it's like the exact same cutscene, but I want to see this.
No.
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 Ooh. Doom Blast. That is killer. Reach high places by launching enemies, activated by holding Y. Aim and knock the enemy away with Y again. That is dope. Oh my god, that is dope. That's nice. Nice. Oh, hello. What's this? Oh, missions. Great. For crying out loud. Complete challenge as get just like in the original game. Great. Yo, uh-oh. Whoopsie. I missed that one. Damn. Whoopsie. Yeah, I fucked that one up. Whoa! What the heck is Orbital Cuba doing here?
Oh, hello, Shadow.
Please don't smash us to bits!
Ah. Oh, that's what those are. Okay, I get you. Oh, I need. Gotcha.
Let's do this.
Ah, no! Thank the Lord. Oh my god, I was gonna be like, wait, no! Not run yet.
This is it.
Okay, good. Clear both challenge decks in the area and obtain boss keys. Oh, sorry, I'm just looking at the key real quick. So 3 and is that a 3 and TXT, I believe. I think? I'm not sure. Chaos Control Master level 2. Use the power of Chaos Control to reach the goal in time. Okay, simple enough. So I have to complete these challenges just so I can get. Ugh, God.
All right.
Oh.
Freeze.
Oh, okay. I see what. Okay, I see. I see. I'm like, will they not let me use boost?
Chaos control.
Cool. Nice.
Freeze.
Oh, welp.
This is the ultimate power. All right. Chaos control.
Oh, and I can also freeze time, which is dope as shit.
Freeze. All right. Chaos control. This is the ultimate power.
Nicely done.
Chaos control.
Sweet balls. I did it. And I got an S rank. Turn on white space. Yes. Please. Obviously. But yeah, this is nice. I love this game. I love this. I love this so much. Okay. Oh, I still got the bell bell. Oh my god. Yay. Favorite thing to do. I can't paralyze the freaking note. But at least I got it. Artwork 68. That's nice. Oh, I got plenty of time to, oh no, never mind. I thought I did have plenty of time. Oh well. Damn. Oh well. It was fun while it lasted. Collect a set number of rings and reach goal in time. Okay. Okay, cool. I never knew that you can literally freeze time by using Chaos Control. That's actually a really good feat, if you ask me. Uh-oh, come on, bro. $100, okay, bet. Uh-oh. Ah! God damn it. Okay, fuck it. Restart. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. God damn it, fuck, bro. What if I just use like the directional pads? Nope, I can't. I cannot. I thought it would work for me, but nope. Yeah, I don't use boost all the time because I'm trying to watch my balance. Yeah, so for those people who want to say, hey, just use boost, it'll be fine. No, it's not. If I use the boost,
power.
yeah. There we go. Ah, well. Yeah, well. I failed though! God damn it. Retry, bro. Try it again. Oh. Cool. Cool. Okay. Okay. I just need to watch my balance though. Yeah, cause like stuff like this, I gotta watch my balance on them.
Alright.
Okay, nice. Yes! Thank the Lord, bro. Yes, return to white space, please. I have completed a mission. And a few more to go, actually. I'll get that one later. Aim and fire with Chaos Spear. Destroy targets with Chaos Spear, break a set number of flying targets, and reach the goal in time. Okay, cool. Ooh, excuse me. Okay, okay, I like this. I like this, it's nice. Boost on. And let's do it. Yes, sir. Oh! I missed my target! Let's do this. Ow, bro. I'm really trying to. Nicely done. Nicely done. There's 4 more.
This is the ultimate power.
Damn it, bro. Oh my god. Fuck, and I failed! What the heck? Oh, and my battery died on my phone! Ah, crap. Well, screw it. Jesus Christ, dude. I didn't even see the warning sign. Well, you know what? Yeah, return to white space. I am feeling kind of tired. Oh my god. My face is like frozen to the brim. Yeah, my face is like totally frozen to the brim. But yeah. Huh. You know what? That's cool. Turn this shit off. Because I can't really focus on my shizzle key. Who the fuck can I raid today? Yes, I'm ending the stream, but hey, I'm raiding somebody else for the fuck of it. I'm raiding somebody else for the fuck of it, yeah. Okay, let's see here. I'm just looking at my list to see what we got. Sniper. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna see what we got going on in this freaking sausage fest of a town here. Okay, so I think I got it. See if I can, damn it, so I can only do it on my actual thing. I'm gonna find somebody to raid. And then we finna wrap it at that. I mean, either way, this was a nice game. I think I want to play more of it when I get the time. For so long. All hail Shadow. That's what they're playing in the back. All hail Shadow. Heroes rise again. Obliterating everything that's not your friend. Oh, would you look at that? Alright, if my freaking PC would just respond correctly, bro. You know what? Screw it. Because my freaking PC is sounding like a bee right now. I'm gonna do it on my other phone. Yeah. I'm a raid musical sniper. If not, I don't know. Yeah. Cool. Okay, cool. Alright. I already have the raid in freaking progress. Oh yeah. Alright, cool. Yeah, I know game, I'm ending soon. I'm just raiding Musical Sniper at the moment. My fucking, PC will act right and correctly. Cool. Alright, and the raid should start now. Cool. Sweet.